Many new players have been trying to feast for the first time this season. However, the healing role is still very intimidating and difficult for a lot of players. In this video, I will be watching and analyzing a feast match that Zepla healed for. On her channel, we did an interview about PvP and its community. Please check out that video after watching this one if you have not already seen it. Also, in that video, I said Scholar was broken, but since then, Scholar has been hotfixed and nerfed. This is my first time making a coaching style video, so if you find it helpful, please make sure to like and comment. With that being said, let's get started. In the beginning of the match, it's a good idea to look at your team composition and what additionals they are running. For example, this Paladin is not running Reprisal, so he has one less cooldown for his team. The Dragoon is also not running Arm's Length, so he might be a little bit more squishy. As a White Mage, in the beginning, it's a good idea to sprint and cast Dia on the first target you can. If possible, melee or range is a good idea because usually that's the first target people want to kill. So at the beginning here, it looks like they're trying to go between Zepla and the Dragoon. Zepla uses Temperance and Protect at the same time. Generally, that's a bad idea. Temperance is a really strong cooldown that uses defensive and offensive capabilities on it. If you stack it with Protect, that's a little bit overkill defensively, and then you'll have no cooldowns after it wears off. The Temperance was good enough. The Protect on the melee went towards nothing because they were not super hitting the Dragoon that hard enough to warrant it. A good idea as a healer is to look out for debuffs like Phantom Dart and Faint. You can tell that she's Phantom Darted right here, and that means they're trying to kill her. So if necessary, she should have saved Protect for herself here. Temperance should have been enough technically if you have some tank and range support. Because all the cooldowns are used now, she doesn't really have much for herself here. Might fall. And also, when she was running, there was a little bit of panic situation there where she was casting Tetra. Go back a little here. In this situation, she got really low, so she cast Purify, and then she did Medical Kit, which I think was needed, that Medical Kit. But after here, she has time to cast a Cure, and then weave in a Tetra. Or the Lily, use Solace, and then weave in either Tetra or Potion. As a healer and Feast, you want to keep your uptime running. So you want to be using your Globals, and then weave in off-global cooldowns to help yourself heal. Because now, in a situation like this, you don't have any more off globals because you used them all, and now you die because you used them all already. Okay, so there's a death there. When someone dies, your next job is to immediately heal who's being hit on the spawn right here, which looks like it's the Paladin. Paladin's getting healed up. Paladin uses Hollowed, means he's pretty safe. In this match, there's a little bit of a lack of callouts. Like, you don't see the countdowns coming off too often. Here's one right now, though. Onto the enemy Dragoon. Right there, Zepla casted Dia. Dia was used on the Gunbreaker. Dia does defense down. It's a good idea to do it on the countdown target or the target that the people your team is hitting. So it would have been better on the Dragoon here. I don't know if that was a missed target or an accident, but that would have definitely helped to have it on the Dragoon at this point. Looks like they're pressuring Zepla. She got Protect on herself, which is really good. It's still pressuring Zepla. So in this situation, she's kind of running in the middle. Instead, she should be kind of running towards walls so she could line of sight the Black Mage. You see where Kira is standing? Kira is standing in a position where they can use a wall if being pressured. This situation right here in the middle is really rough for a healer because the Black Mage can recast on you, and there's something you could do about it. Now there's a countdown on the Black Mage. So again, Kira's at the better position. This wall is better than nothing, but this is not actually like an LOS spot if the people already are here. Like if they're in your spawn, there's nowhere to run when you're in this left wall. But if you're on the right wall, you can run down the corridor, like the side of the wall. That way they have to push towards you to make it to you. Get the kill there, which is great. They definitely needed that kill because the pressure was getting a little bit too high. Zepla casts Dia on the Dragoon there, which I think is a good idea. When you're running as a White Mage, you get the chance to cast Dia or Solace. Both of them are insta casts, and you can do them while running. That way, you can still weave in stuff and move as you're casting. Zepla's a little low on MP at this point. I think a lot of that came down to having to spam Cure 2, and that was mostly because of the lack of defense cooldowns. Again, the Dragoon is not running Arm's Length, and the Paladin is not running Reprisal, so a little bit of a lack of defensive cooldown coming from their team. Countdown here. Protect use on the Dragoon, very good idea. Definitely gets slept. Temperance is used after protect, which is a good idea. Cure 2. Okay, so what happened there was melee limit break is very powerful. They were pressuring really hard, but the uptime on the heals was a little bit of a problem for why they died. We look back here 20 seconds ago. They're pressuring the Dragoon. Protect is on, which is great. But you can see here that she casted something, a heal, but instead of casting another heal at this position, she didn't keep her globals rolling. Like this position right here, she could do another Solace or Cure 2. Instead, she clicked the medical kit and then Tetra and then another Tetra. Again, uptime on healer is all about keeping your globals rolling. If you use a Lily, you can weave or even double weave certain abilities like Tetra. That would have been more healing overall in that short amount of time if you your global first and then use your off global in that time period. So now there is no Tetra available at this situation, which means she's probably going to fall behind. Also, she gets slept here, and Purify is ready. Purify is the cleanse ability. The faster you use it, the more value you get out of it. She uses Purify like 2 seconds after the sleep. It's all about practice and skill. You got to get used to clicking Purify as soon as you get slept, like within 1 second, and you get more value. Like you'll heal quicker, and that'll be better for the team. But it takes practice. It's something you got to get used to, and you got to like expect it too. Sometimes people get caught off guard because they're not used to clicking Purify or having to cleanse anything. But when you get that muscle memory of clicking Purify instantly as soon as you get slapped or stunned when you need to, it's going to be better for you. So combine the fact of not keeping globals rolling, and combine the fact that melee is not running arm's length, and combine the fact that paladins are running reprisal, and combine the fact that the Purify was a little slow. That's what led to the death there. Feast is completely a team game. You can't blame the healer completely because of that. It takes a team effort for anyone to survive. Okay, now they switch targets to Zepla here. She goes to the wall, which is a great idea. Good hug on the wall. Still fell over, however. So when you're using walls, the thing you have to keep eye out most is LOSing the enemy. Especially if it's like a job like Black Mage where they have to hard cast sometimes. So you can see the Black Mage right here is on the left side, like near the middle of the map. You should have stayed on the right side of the wall instead of making a full loop to line of sight the Black Mage. Okay, now they're trying to go for a follow-up kill. Caster Limit Break is used. Tank Limit Break is used on your team to counterbalance that. Looks like they're on the Paladin. Paladin is being hurt. Paladin already is hollow ground, so he doesn't have that. Temperance is used. I think that's a really good Temperance there because the target was stunned. And also they were kind of like falling behind it from all the damage. Fallout was used there. Countdown is on the enemy healer. Zepla has to keep healing though. Don't forget, as healer, your job is to heal first. Wolf's Heart is open. Wolf's Heart is for Zepla. You don't have to grab it ASAP, but you should pretty much grab Wolf's Heart when it's safe. Sometimes it's kind of like a bait trap because it's in the middle of the map. It's strategic why it's in the middle of the map because it's a risk play to run in the middle to grab it. In that situation, their damage was split, so she was pretty much safe to take it there. They were hitting the dancer and her at the same time. There's a countdown here on Akira, the enemy white mage. See what happens here. Zepla's keeping the dancer up. Healing. The damage is split between Zepla and the dancer. Repulse is used. Repulse is used on the enemy black mage. The enemy black mage is sleeping. I think that was a defensive sleep. That was basically to stop the pressure from going out. Not totally necessary, but if you're comfortable, it's not a bad idea to do that. Like if you feel like someone's gonna die, it's better to play it safe for sure. When two people are being hit, especially when it's between you and a target, you should use medical kits for yourself and then use your heals, your MP, lilies, and tetras on the target if possible. Now there's a countdown on Kira again, the enemy white mage. Zepla uses Dia, Zepla uses Aside and Temperance, which helps him score a kill. All of that stuff was very aggressive and a good idea to help your team kill. Secondary call onto Shade, and they get the follow-up kill on the black mage there. Third call onto the Dragoon, and they get the third kill there as well. Great job. As a healer, like when everyone's healed up, the best thing you could do is help your team kill. And that means applying Dia and sleeping the enemy healer and using Temperance. Every healer has aggressive tools to help kill, but you have to do that after the targets are your team is healed up. 40 seconds left. They're trying to go for the dancer. In this position here, you gotta pay attention to who's the win condition. Right now, win condition is mostly the Dragoon. If the Dragoon dies, they lose. If Zepla dies, they'll still have enough medals to win, but it'll still be a little bit scary because, you know, when a healer dies, a follow-up can happen. So it's best to make sure she keep herself alive and the Dragoon alive. If this dancer dies, they lose 50 medals and they won't be losing. Now, Faint is on Zepla, which means you're trying to kill Zepla. Temperance is already up, which is, you know, it does defense up, so she's okay for the most part. It comes down to her. Has to keep herself up. 5 seconds left. And as long as the Dragoon is kept alive, they win. They win here. So a little bit of a risky play there. When it's like 30 seconds left, there really is no point to be running in. You look back here. They were at the spawn. They were in their base, and then they decided to do a call on the Gunbreaker and run to the middle of the map. What would have been preferable is if they stayed back in the base and forced the enemy team to come to them instead of taking the risk of being in the middle. But that's something that doesn't really come into mind until you become more experienced in the feast. And you got to play what your team does. For example, if her Dragoon goes in, she can't just ignore the Dragoon. She has to go in with the Dragoon. So she did it right there by doing that. To summarize, the feast is very intricate, and the higher level you get, the more difficult it gets. There are many more things I could say about that match, but I think it would be an information overload. The biggest things that need to be worked on is uptime, using walls better, and using Protect, Temperance, and Repulse better. Healing uptime is improved by making sure your globals are rolling, so you can get bigger bursts of healing without having to expend all your off-global cooldowns. Using walls to mitigate damage on yourself will allow you to have better survival, and it's very important for healers to survive to avoid double deaths. Using Protect and Temperance better will allow your team to survive better, as well as kill better. Improving these 3 things can make a silver player jump to platinum at least. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.